Broncos training camp has come to a halt, at least for right now. This is the last training camp practice, at least at the time of this recording, which is on Tuesday at 4 o'clock before Broncos joint practice with the 49ers. Welcome in Broncos country to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. I'm Moose, and on today's episode, Broncos training camp overreactions. So how are we going to break this down? Well, I'm going to have some storylines and some questions to kind of keep into the back of your head as we head into week one. And by the way, let's get some comments spamming right now in the chat below. If you want a shout out in the next show, use hashtag Broncos right now in the comment section. If I see hashtag Broncos, there's a pretty good chance that I'm going to feature you in our next episode. So make sure you get as many as you can in the comment section down below. Let's start with the first overreaction. Ja'Quan McMillian, is his stock decreasing? The more and more that I read about Ja'Quan McMillian and the more and more that I'm reading about how good Ja'Quan McMillian looks and how good Riley Moss looks, the more and more I'm starting to think Ja'Quan McMillian might be on the outside looking in. That doesn't mean he's going to get cut. But Ja'Quan McMillian looks like he's the leader of that nickel cornerback spot. In fact, if you go back and look at some of the takeaways from Broncos training camp, he's getting cooked a lot. And again, does that mean that he's not going to have a place on this team? Of course not. And after last season, I would have told you that he was looking in for a big year, a big year. His statistics were really good last year. His PFF grade, maybe not so much, but he definitely had a good enough season. 81 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 10 pass breakups, that's a great number, and 2 picks. Very good. Very good. But then the Broncos drafted Ja'Quan McMillian. And as you can see, I've updated the cornerback depth chart. That's right. I updated what I believe is going to be the Denver Broncos starting cornerback rotation week 1 against the Tennessee Titans. Pat Surtain, Riley Moss, and Ja'Quan McMillian in the slot. No offense to Ja'Quan McMillian whatsoever. But I think that this is Barron's job to lose. You don't draft a guy 20th overall and just have him sit on the sideline, especially with the athletic traits and field vision that Ja'Quan McMillian has displayed. He's just too good. Period. Point blank. Now, I get it. You haven't seen him on the field yet, so how can you know he's that good? Obviously, I'm going off of what I saw in college. But what I saw in college was the best cornerback in this 2025 draft class, bar none. And in my opinion, it wasn't particularly close. He has the entire package, and he's just waiting to put it on full display for you in 2025. So that's why I believe the Ja'Quan McMillian stock might be decreasing. Let's move on to our second one. Sai'vion Jones, rookie struggles? You know, this one is definitely an enigma to me. He's the biggest enigma. I have barely heard about Sai'vion Jones this entire offseason. It's the most quiet offseason I've ever seen from a player. Think about this. We have a player that was drafted in the 3rd round, and yet, how often have you heard Sai'vion Jones' name? Very infrequently. And he's there. He's participating. He's padded up. Yet we're not hearing very much. But I can tell you this, from a collegiate perspective, he was a dog, especially in 2024. Big body boy. He's huge. And he has got the tools to become a really good starter on this Broncos defensive line. Not year 1, but could this be a potential John Franklin Myers replacement? That's what at least I think in my head. That's my first thought. Because Zach Allen, under contract, not going anywhere. DJ Jones, under contract, not going anywhere. John Franklin Myers is the only one that wants a new deal, and I don't know if the Broncos are going to give it to him. So if Sai'vion Jones is that next spot, if he's that next guy up, that next man up mentality, great. I love it. But I need to hear a little bit more about you. I need to hear about the strength. I need to hear about the power. I need to hear how you're setting the tone at the edge. I need to hear how you're getting after the quarterback. Because John Franklin Myers, as good as he was against stopping the run last year, he was equally as good as getting to the quarterback. He had one of the best seasons of his entire career. So those are some big shoes to fill. I have nothing against JFM. But Sai'vion Jones could be the potential replacement. The only main question that I've got right now on all of this is why haven't I heard his name more? But obviously, we're going to wait and see. Before we continue on with today's show, I have to give a major shout out to today's sponsor, and that is Brunt. Guys, take a look at this sweet Marin design that Brunt has. It's super stylish and super comfortable. My old work boots didn't offer anything in the way of style or comfort. But now with Brunt, I don't have to sacrifice any of that. They built tough boots that feel great from day one. No break-in, no sore feet, because the people out there doing the real work shouldn't have to choose between comfort and durability. Brunt's best-selling Marin work boots are not only built for the toughest job sites, they're completely waterproof. Whether it's rain, mud, or standing water, your feet are going to stay dry. But it's not just about the work boots, my friends. They offer a full range of high-performance gear built for tough jobs. From heavy-duty work pants to weather-resistant jackets, Brunt designs durable, reliable workwear to keep you protected and productive in any condition. Brunt was tired of the workwear brands out there cutting corners. You work way too hard to be stuck in uncomfortable boots that just don't hold up. So they built something better. Boots that are insanely comfortable and built for any job site. For a limited time, our listeners get $10 off at Brunt when you use code CHAT at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com, use the code CHAT, and you are good to go. After you order, they're going to ask where you heard about Brunt. Do us a favor and tell them it was from the Broncos Breakdown and Chat Sports. One more time, that is code CHAT, C-H-A-T, at checkout. Head to bruntworkwear.com. I'll have all of that ready for you in the comments and description of today's video. Third overreaction. Evan Engram unlocking Bo's full potential. Evan Engram feels like one of those players that you heard a little bit about him during training camp, but because of his veteran presence, they probably weren't that worried about him. And that's kind of how I feel about the whole situation. I don't worry about Evan Engram's ability to get it done on the field. It was more so just, can you stay healthy for a full season, which I think he will. But I do want to at least briefly mention the guys that do it the best at the quarterback level and who they have as tight ends. I want you to notice something. Mahomes and Kelsey, 3-time Super Bowl winners. Allen and Kincaid and Dawson Knox. Dalton Kincaid. Allen and Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. Always up there around the AFC Championship every year. Same with Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews. And then, of course, a pair that has also made a Super Bowl. Brock Purdy and George Kittle. Purdy might not be elite, but he and Kittle are definitely a formidable twosome. So what's something you notice here? All of the good quarterbacks or elite quarterbacks have solid, awesome tight end options to go to. And that's where Evan Engram comes in. He is going to be the missing link for this Broncos passing game. Something that Bo didn't have last year. No offense to Adam Troutman, but if he's your number one, it's a problem. Evan Engram is going to be the guy that gets it done over the middle of the field. If he can have even 80% of what he was able to do in 2023, I think it's a home run. It's an unbelievable signing. 2024, yeah, he had an injury. 9 games played. But it's still way better than anything any of the other Broncos tight ends had. So this could be the one piece that Bo Nix needs to be unlocked. And it could be the next thing that Evan Engram needs to get back on track. Ingram's role in this passing offense is the most important in 2025. More so than Cortland Sutton. More so than Troy Franklin or any of the young Broncos wide receivers currently on this depth chart. How do I know that? Well, I can tell you from the early down targets chart last year. The tight end target percentage was only 14%. That's terrible. You want that to be over 20%. Because the ultimate safety blanket is your tight end. It's like that for every elite quarterback. And Bo last year, too many times, had to check it down. Look at that. The RB target percentage was 22. Let's flip-flop those numbers. Make the tight end targets 22%, the check down number of your running backs 14%. If you can do that, that opens up play action more. It opens more opportunities then for your run game, and it's all a trickle-down effect. It all bleeds into the one same overarching umbrella of offensive efficiency. So I'll ask you this question. It feels kind of like an out there sort of deal, but you know what? It's fun to ask on this show. Will Evan Engram make a Pro Bowl in 2025? Yes or no? I'm undecided right now. I'm leaning towards no, but I think it's right there on the fence. I think it's going to be a really fun duo to see in 2025. But either way, let me know in the comment section down below. Last but not least, RJ Harvey taking over the running back 1 spot right away? Question mark? Relax. This one feels like it's definitely an overreaction. The reason I put this here is because I got a message from a viewer last night of the show who was like, is RJ Harvey already running back 1? And I was like, what are you talking about? It's because ESPN came out and kind of dropped a chart. I know this is really tough to see, but this is the way too early depth chart that ESPN put out for the Broncos in 2025. Notice something. ESPN has Harvey as RB1. Again, I think they got this wrong, at least for week 1. J.K. Dobbins is clearly going to be your week 1 RB1. Remember, Sean Payton has a rotation of backs for different packages, so there's not necessarily a specific lead back in this offense. It's more of a rotation for different packages. But make no mistake about it, J.K. will be listed as RB1 come week 1. He's way too experienced. He's way too talented. And there's a reason that you brought him in. However, I do want to say that it's probably not as far off or as far-fetched as you could possibly think. Like, we're not waiting until week 14 to see RJ Harvey as RB1. It's probably going to be a more 50-50 even split. Now, this is one of those guys that's not a Denver Broncos fan. He says, I wish Dobbins didn't get sent over to Denver. Makes this rookie pick a little less fun to draft, which I disagree with. I think RJ Harvey's going to be a fine fantasy pick. But this is what I currently have the Broncos depth chart as. I could probably put Jaleel McLaughlin in at RB3. At that point, I think it's kind of heads or tails who you put in there. It doesn't really matter. You could put Jaleel McLaughlin or Audric Estime there. It's a coin flip. But 1 and 2 would look like that for at least week 1. But it is fun to think about and fun to speculate. So I'm going to ask you anyway. What week will RJ Harvey become RB1? I have to stake my claim for week 4 or week 5. And again, it's never going to look like lead back, then clear number 2. Because different packages in the shotgun and under, a single back formation under center will garner different results. You might see J.K. Dobbins back here one time. You might see R.J. Harvey. But I think when you really start to see that it's R.J. Harvey's team in the backfield will be week 4 or week 5. Obviously, let me know in the comment section down below. That is going to do it for us on today's episode. A reminder to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Remember, spam with those hashtag Broncos down in the chat. I will see you guys next time. As always, mile high salute. Be cool.